Well, adding to the White House's woes, despite calls from both sides of the aisle to delay the individual mandate, the White House refuses to budge. Instead, using their time to try and clarify the mess or deadline dates for people to enroll in Obamacare without paying a penalty. For more on this, Dr. Sreedhar Potarazu, the CEO of Vital Springs Technologies. Dr. P, thanks for being here. You know, last night, there was a slew of headlines that the White House was, in fact, delaying the deadline for signing up for the mandate, complying with the mandate by 6 weeks. The White House then excoriated NBC for reporting this. And here's what Josh Earnest said on his Twitter feed about this. He said that individual mandate timing hasn't changed. Deadline for having insurance is March 31st. Was true this AM, is true tonight. And I got to tell you, Dr. P, I looked at that and I thought, really? Didn't we originally say that you had to have coverage by the beginning of the year? What's going on here?
Panic mode is what's going on. So I wish I was a fly on the wall when all of the insurance executives flew into town here yesterday to go to the White House, because that's the first clue that something is going to change. Because I can tell you that there's a big push to get as many people signed up as possible. I know that there is a lot of discrepancy based on the way the law is written in terms of how much time people have. There's this, what is called this Valentine's Day doomsday, because you have up until the 15th of a month in order to get coverage for the following month. Otherwise, you get pushed back by 6 weeks. And so the interpretation of that is what's been left open in terms of whether the date has actually been pushed.
Well, let's think about this for a second. So the administration wants to sign up 7 million people in the first year, 2.6 million of them young people, to make this whole thing work, right?
Yeah,
how do they do this with this deadline scheme? And how do they do this if the deadlines are all softer than a baby's butt?
Yeah, that's an interesting example. But it's going to be very hard if you do the math based on the current estimates, because we really don't know how many people have effectively not just enrolled but actually bought an affordable insurance plan. We don't know what that number is. But if we assume, and we give them the benefit of the doubt, that in fact it is 500,000 people, then you connect the dots and extrapolate from there. It's going to be very difficult to get to that 7 million number under the current circumstances.
Well, Dr. P, today the government held a press conference. It was a teleconference, so I was able to sit in. They put out 2 PR people from CMS. That's all they gave the media. Nobody operational. And they couldn't tell us how many people have signed up. And these are the people running the program. And it's been 24 days. It's outrageous. Well, this is our taxpayer dollar. We are paying the tab for this. How is it that the government can continue to stonewall that is, not just the media, but Congress, taxpayers? They're refusing to give this information to anybody at all.
Well, here's why, Jerry, and I will tell everybody very candidly today that, you know, a lot of those people that have been called in right now are very good friends of mine, including Jeff Zients. I have known these people for years. They're very smart people. They're very capable people. But I'm sure, knowing my friends, that they're probably in panic mode right now, because nobody is going to be eager to want to step in to this fire drill. The reason that people are not communicating is because it's mass chaos. When you look at, and the camera can zoom in here, these are the number of the different things that have to come together in order for healthcare.gov to work. And when you look at the number of different vendors that were on Capitol Hill today trying to explain, there was a lot of this in terms of
a ton of finger pointing. Nobody wanting to take responsibility. That's the other big thing I think that is frustrating so many of us. We just want somebody to say, the buck stops here. It's my responsibility to get this thing together, and I'm going to do it. But the president doesn't want to do that. CMS doesn't want to do that. The IT firms don't want to do that.
Well, here's the issue, Jerry, is, I've done this for the last 15 years. I know what it takes in terms of integrating the enrollment systems with payroll systems, all of these things that need to come together. And I can tell you a couple of examples. every September and October, when an employer tries to roll out open enrollment to get people to sign up for insurance, that's the worst day of the year because it's chaos. So it's not like anybody has figured this process out, that it's going to happen like that. But
look,
they need credible people to be able to answer the problems right now.
Look, as one woman said today, the people who do 1-800-Flowers, February 14th comes and goes and the world doesn't fall apart. I mean, these websites are able to withstand huge amount of demand, huge traffic. The world doesn't come apart. This should have worked just as well, and it didn't. Dr. P, thanks for coming on. It's always good to have you on the show, and we appreciate your expertise.